Okay, what we have here is a 1992 Ford diesel van with a 7.3 liter. You may have seen it on some of my other videos. This van was not being used very much. I didn't drive it much. It sat most of the time, and I used it maybe once every 2 months. But one of the weird things about this van was it seemed to keep refilling its own fuel tank. What I mean is, I would drive it, I'd take it 50 miles or whatever, and I'd bring it home and I'd park it. And a month later, I'd go to take it out again, and I would go over to the fueling station and put some diesel in it. It would take 1 or 2 gallons. And I thought to myself, boy, that's amazing. I must have forgot that I filled it when I parked it. So this went on for quite some time. At the same time, my fuel gauge started getting really erratic. It would read empty sometimes, and it would read 3/4 other times. This fan has sat for a couple of years before I bought it, and the fuel that was in the tank when I originally got the van was pretty gelled up. And I didn't realize that at the time. But what happened to me was I was about 200 miles from home, and the fuel gauge was reading empty like it always does, and I started bucking and not backfiring, but hiccuping and running poorly. So I said, before the trip, I had filled it up, and it took $3 worth of diesel. It was full. I couldn't imagine what was going on. But I thought, well, let me pull it in to the fueling station and fill it up again and see what's going on. So I pulled it in, and it took 50 cents worth of diesel after a 200-mile trip. Well, that told me something was very, very wrong. I tapped on the tank, and sure enough, the tank was completely bone dry. What I have in my hand is an anti-siphon valve. Let's see if I can bring it up closer. This is a little spring-mounted thing, right there, spring-mounted thing, that is mounted on the inside of the tank, on the filler neck, right about here. And what this is designed to do is, if you go put a hose in here, which goes to the filler neck, and try to siphon fuel out of this tank, this device keeps you from putting the hose down inside the tank. Well, the tank was gummed up, and this device jammed closed. It basically closed itself up and wouldn't let any fuel into the tank. Well, that was pretty incredible. It left me in a parking lot of a Walmart buying cheap tools because I didn't have any tools on the truck, and basically getting the nozzle off of here, the hose, and jamming something down in there, and I finally got this thing to move, and it allowed me to put fuel in the tank, and sure enough, everything was fine. Well, when I got home, the tank came out, this little thing got cut off. I'll never ever... Ford, don't try to cure problems for me. Let me decide what I want. If I want this tank to be easy to siphon from, let me be able to siphon from the tank. Okay? This little thing, sorry, it's not for me. I cut that off. I had the tank refurbished, cleaned out, painted, came out fantastic. I'm really happy. And now I can stick a hose down in there, and I can siphon from my own fuel tank. If I want to fill my generator or something else, I'll be able to do that. No thanks, Ford. Stop. This is silliness, okay? So this is beyond belief. So anyway, now the tank is fixed. If you're having a problem fueling your own Ford gas tank, you might want to think about an anti-siphon valve as being your culprit. A couple of other things of note here. This fuel tank sending unit was not available anymore from Ford. I couldn't get it from anybody. Basically, I had to rebuild it. The sending unit part, I found that the gasoline versions of these vehicles are wired backwards. and the ohms change the opposite from high to low, and the gasoline versions has the diesel versions. So you have to take a sending unit from, this is a 92, this came off a 96. The actual resistor in here and the wiper came off a 96, and it's wired the correct way. This pickup is off a 2001. The pickup that was on this originally disintegrated. Parts of it were still in the tank. And of course, as an entirety, Ford no longer makes this. So basically you're on your own. You can do some changes here. Let me see if I can show you the changes made. This has a little valve in it, a little suction valve that the electric fuel pumps, I don't know why they need to do that, but I guess it damages the electric fuel pumps if the screen becomes plugged. They have this little valve that bypasses the screen should that become plugged. But this is a mechanical fuel pump, so it really doesn't matter. So there's the details of this, and that's with my new sending unit, my new resistor and wiper. It all came, I put that all back together. So we worked really well. So I'm babbling now. I think this is about ready to go back together and get back up in there. I just thought that was an interesting little device. And that's basically what it looks like. It's just a spring and this part that attaches to the fueling neck, like that, okay? And then you've got your pedal and your spring. And if you're like me, the next time you pull your Ford fuel tank, you'll cut that off. That's what I think of it anyway. All right, well, good luck.